taking these animals from a really bad, kind of treacherous, horrendous situation to a life that they can enjoy.
Now at 10, more than 50 Chihuahuas are making their way to the tri-state as we speak from Texas after being rescued from a serious hoarding situation.
The polls are closed in Ohio's primary election. The results are coming in. New details on the hotly contested races. But first, Chief Meteorologist John Gum has your first forecast.
A cold front sliding through the tri-state tonight not only represents the leading edge of cooler air, it is producing some rain to the south and east of Cincinnati. Some heavy rain moving through southern Claremont, Brown, Bracken County, even Mason and Pendleton County seeing a little bit of rain. And it's cool, 59 degrees, north winds at 13, making it feel cooler. We'll have some waves of rain moving through the tri-state overnight. Rumbles of thunder not out of the question, and even a few showers around in some locations to start out your Wednesday morning. Cooler too, down to 49 degrees. Yes, more rain tonight, and it's a cool and damp pattern ahead of us. We'll track more rain coming up in your Weather Authority forecast. The news starts now.
Breaking news alerts and weather before the first commercial. This is Local 12 News on Star 64.
We start with breaking news tonight in Burlington. That is where the sheriff's office confirmed that 2 inmates have escaped from the Boone County work camp. Take a look at your screen here. They are Damian Lewis and James Thomas. They're pictured on your screen. Neither man is a violent offender, but they were last seen wearing black shirts and blue jeans. If you have any information on where they might be, you're asked to call the Boone County Sheriff's Office at 859-371-1234. And with that, we say good evening. It is primary election night in Ohio.
The polls closed just a few hours ago. In Cincinnati, voters are deciding on 3 issues and narrowing down the mayor's race from 6 to 2 people. Here is a look right now at the results. The current Hamilton County Clerk of Courts, Aftab Pureval, has almost 40% of the vote. Then David Mann, current councilman, has about 29%, and Cecil Thomas, the state senator and former councilman, is in third with just over 16% reporting.
And we have team coverage tonight. We're going to start with that mayoral race. James Pilcher is at the Board of Elections with the man who is leading the pack right now, Aftab Pureval. James, good evening.
Good evening, Adam. Thank you for joining us, everybody. And actually live with us right now is Aftab Pureval, the current Clerk of Courts. You are currently in the lead with a pretty commanding lead. How are you feeling? And if you are able to hold on and then go on to win in November, what's your number 1 priority?
James, you can't see it, but I'm smiling ear to ear right now. We are so very excited and so grateful for all the votes that have come in so far in support of our vision for moving Cincinnati forward. I'm just so grateful for all the support we've received so far. And this campaign is about Cincinnati's future. And our future is bright, it's bold, and it's diverse. And I think it's time for new leaders to go into City Hall to move our city forward, to recover after COVID, to grow our city for those here, for our diverse communities here, and to retain and recruit young talent here. For those voters who supported some of the other incredible candidates in this race, I say to them, I'm going to work tirelessly between now and November to earn your support, because what Cincinnati needs right now is for us all to come together. We want a broad, diverse coalition to walk into City Hall to move our city forward, not just for some of us, but for all of us.
Now, you mentioned diversity. If you were to win, obviously, right now you become the first major candidate of South Asian descent. And if you were to win, obviously, you become the first mayor of South Asian descent. I mean, how does that feel?
I'm so incredibly grateful for that. But this campaign isn't about me. It's about the voters of Cincinnati, and specifically, it's about the future of Cincinnati. We have a choice to move forward, to close this ugly chapter in our city's history, and to bring all of us together to move our city forward. That's what I'm laser focused on, and frankly, that's what Cincinnati needs right now. It's been a unfortunately challenging and historic year with the pandemic, with the economic downturn, and with all the corruption in City Hall. I think people in Cincinnati want a fresh start, and that's exactly what we're providing.
Thank you for joining us. And as we mentioned earlier, it looks like he's going to face off against either current Councilman David Mann, who also used to be mayor, or current state senator and former councilman Cecil Thomas. And I'm throwing it back to you guys. I know we have more on those two candidates.
Absolutely. All right, James, thank you. Yeah, and as you mentioned, David Mann right now in second place as it stands.
Our David Winter is covering his campaign. David, good evening. How is Mr. Mann feeling tonight?
I think he's feeling pretty good. You can see him back behind me. This is a very intimate little campaign party, as it were. I feel like I'm part of the family. You just have a few members of the campaign. You've got David, of course, and you have his wife who is here, and then, of course, Tucky, their very famous golden doodle. He's skipping around here somewhere. But, yeah, solidly in second place right now. This is David Mann's 18th campaign. He started as a replacement for Jerry Springer way back in 1972 when Jerry Springer had to step down. And now things, of course, much more analytical. So he spent a lot of his time with his campaign manager, Kevin Burton, tonight, poring over the data.
All right, so 21% of the precincts reporting. We've moved up a point to almost 29%. AFTAB has dropped down to 39. We're 9 points ahead of Cecil, so we're solid.
Yeah, so Mann spent a lot of the night, of course, in second place behind AFTAB Puraval. Every new reporting, he closed the gap, and Mann is perhaps the most centrist of the Democrats, so he was expecting to pull a lot of his votes from the outskirts of Cincinnati. Those ballots, of course, coming in last. So solidly in second place at this hour. We asked if it comes down to he and AFTAB in November, why should people vote for him?
We have over 6,000 employees. We spend $1.5 billion a year. We have 17 departments that provide a whole range of services, keeping citizens safe, helping them provide for their welfare and all the rest. That's not something you know how to do on day one. Because of my experience, I think I can be a major informed, competent mayor starting day one.
Yeah, so back to the analytics. Kevin Burton, the campaign manager for the Mann campaign, said that if David were to get 7,000 votes tonight, then we know that he would make it solidly into second place. He now is past 8,000 votes, so this is a bit of a victory party right now. I asked what's going to happen starting tomorrow if they do come in first or second. David Mann said, reaching out to the people. Kevin Burton, his campaign manager, said, we got to start fundraising. Back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you. Kind of a fun look into his kitchen tonight. All right, in third place, we have Cecil Thomas.
Yeah, Cassie Arsenault has been with his campaign all evening. She joins us live right now with reaction there. Cassie, good evening.
Good evening to both of you. Senator Thomas just spoke to me. He's calling it. He says he's too far behind to come back from this. And he says he's disappointed. He's actually bidding goodbye to his team right now. He said he'll be in Columbus tomorrow morning. Now, as you know, though, the senator is no stranger to public service. A Cincinnati police officer for 27 years, a city council member in 2005. He's now in his 7th year as senator. He was hoping to be the mayor of Cincinnati, but he says it's not looking that that's very likely. Now, Senator Thomas, his number one priority this whole time has been to bring integrity back to the city. He hopes whoever becomes mayor can do that. The recent events of several elected council members has put a spotlight on corruption, and Thomas has been adamant on bringing trust back to government. And when I asked him tonight, before the results started rolling in, what set him apart from the other candidates, he said it was simple.
None of these candidates can come anywhere close to the type of experience that I have in the 50 or so years that I've been serving this city. So none of them can touch that. And that's what separates me from all of them, experience.
Now, Senator Thomas also raised the least amount of money during this campaign, but he reminded me that when he ran for city council back in 2005, he basically raised $1 for every vote that he got. That's how he likened it to me. He said money is not a factor in this. He was really relying on name recognition. Of course, he says that didn't fare well for him tonight, but he says name recognition is the most important. and always doing what the people vote you in to do. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Cassie, thank you very much. Now, it's not just the mayoral race. There are 3 major issues on the ballot this year as well.
The first 2 focus on cleaning up City Hall. The third is the Cincinnati Affordable Housing Amendment. Brad Underwood live at the Hamilton County Board of Elections with a breakdown of where things stand right now. Brad, good evening.
Well, good evening, Megan. And the votes going the way that many predicted here in these 3 issues. Issues 1 and 2 passing, issue 3 failing, and it wasn't close in any of the 3 races or any of the 3 issues. Issue 1 focusing would give council the power to suspend, or excuse me, would stop a council member from changing the names on the list of their people who get to pick their successors. It would also assign a special prosecutor to look into this so that the city solicitor's office isn't put in a sticky situation there. Issue 1 passing 76%. Issue 2 the same, about 76% passing for that. That would allow council to suspend a council member who is charged with a felony. Right now, you do have one council member, Wendell Young, who is facing a felony charge. So with this passing, who knows where council goes on that, whether they decide to move towards suspending him or vote towards suspending him. Council seems split on that as of right now. And of course, issue 3 dealing with affordable housing, that going down pretty big tonight, as most did think. And we did catch up with Councilman Betsy Sunderman as the votes are still coming in here, 229, I believe, precincts reporting out of the 250. But she's been a big supporter of issue 1 and 2. We got her reaction tonight to the big lead when those first votes came in.
We need ways to remove or suspend or totally remove corrupt council members. So I talked to a lot of people at the polls today. It sounds like a lot of people voted for 1 and 2. So cross your fingers. I'm hoping it happens.
As for issue 3, Josh Spring and the Homeless Coalition of Cincinnati, big supporters of that issue. We're hoping to catch up with Josh and have some information from him coming up tonight at 11. For now, reporting live in Norwood, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News. Megan.
Brad, thank you. There are 5 school levies on the ballot.
Yeah, the results are still coming in. Let's check in on where things stand right now. We do know that the Indian Hills School Bond issue and levy passed, along with the Lebanon Schools levy, the Springboro Schools levy, and the Bethel Tate Schools levy. All of them, again, passing. As of right now, though, there are more votes in against the Winton Woods Schools levy. Well, more than 50 Chihuahuas are making their way to the tri-state after being rescued by a local shelter from a horrifying hoarding situation.
After the break, why that shelter answered the call for help and what's being done to make sure the pups find a safe forever home.